Hello everyone, welcome to Get My Class. So let's solve this question which says, who first used gene therapy and cured which disease? Option A, William French Anderson, ADA deficiency. Option B, Mendel, ADA deficiency. Option C, Jennifer Doudna, AIDS. Option D, Emmanuel Charpentier, AIDS. Now let us understand the question. It says, who first used gene therapy and cured which disease? Okay, so they are asking who was the person who first used gene therapy and he cured or she cured which disease. Now, before we talk about who first used, first of all, we have to understand what is gene therapy. What do you mean by gene therapy? I know that you all know gene therapy is a therapy where we can introduce gene of interest, or even you can do alteration of the present gene, okay, mutated gene. That also can be done. The basic idea is of for what this the basic idea is to provide treatment, okay, or you can say cure certain certain genetic disorder. Okay? So there you need gene therapy. Okay, now so gene therapy was first used by gene therapy was first was used by a scientist who's known as William French Anderson. What's his name? William French Anderson. And he was the person who introduced this particular gene therapy, which we call it as gene therapy because, as I told you, the gene is used as a medicine here. Okay. So Anderson, in the year 1990, what he did, he used gene therapy on a 4-year-old girl, small child girl. And this girl was suffering by a disease which is called as SCID, that is severe combined immunodeficiency disorder. And this was because of the lack of the production of an enzyme which is called as ADA, that is adenosine deaminase. And this is necessary for immune system. Okay, it is very necessary for immunity. Okay? But in this girl, that gene was mutant and she was suffering by this severe combined immunodeficiency disorder. So in that girl, um, who's that? William French Anderson, he introduced the cells containing, or he introduced the lymphocytes containing the gene for ADA, okay, ADA enzyme. So he introduced the gene for ADA enzyme into the lymphocytes, and those cells introduced into this girl. And he observed very good result that she started responding to this particular therapy, and she started developing that immunity against various diseases. Okay, so that is why this person, that is William French Anderson, is also known as father of genetics. So William French Anderson is also known as father of gene therapy. Sorry, father of gene therapy. Okay, so he's known as father of gene therapy. Who is the father of genetics? Father of genetics is our great scientist, that is Mendel, John Gregor Mendel. Okay. Okay, so you don't get confused. William French Anderson is known as father of gene therapy. Okay, whereas Mendel is known as father of genetics. Now the question says, who first used gene therapy and cured which disease? Okay, option A says William French Anderson. Yes, that is correct. He was the first person to use, and he treated ADA deficiency. That is also correct. So that should be the right answer. Option B says Mendel. So Mendel is not father of gene therapy, or he never used genes. But in fact, he didn't even know that genes exist that time because he called them as factors. And of course, so since he's totally not related to the gene therapy, it's ruled out. Option C says Jennifer Doudna, AIDS. Jennifer Doudna, and option D says Emmanuel Charpentier. So these two scientists, actually, they have got Nobel Prize. Okay, they are Nobel Prize winners. And for what work? They have worked on something called as cipher editing. They have worked on cipher editing. Or you can also call it as CRISPR's gene editing. So they worked on gene editing. Okay, and for that they got Nobel Prize. But these are not involved, these were not the first people to work on gene therapy. Hence it is pulled up. Okay, C and D are ruled out. So the correct answer is option A. So let us conclude. So the answer is option A. I hope you understood the explanation. Thank you.